For InsiderAdvantage Internet News Agency and the Southern Political Report, I'm Aileen Page.
And I'm Matt Towery. Down to the wire. We just have one day to go before Tsunami Tuesday hits this country. And Aileen, it's still all up in the air, just like this whole year has been.
It really is crazy, man. We've got some new numbers that prove just that. In Georgia, among Republicans with a 465-person sample, we have McCain at 32%, Romney at 31%, Huckabee at 26%, Paul at 4%, and 7% undecided. That is a very tight race, Matt.
Very tight indeed. And I see you have Alabama Democratic numbers as well.
We do, with 408 people polled. We have Obama at 45%, Hillary Clinton at 44%, undecided 8%, and 3 are just other. But that's a very tight race as well.
Very tight indeed. This there's a lot going on, and this was a very strange weekend because you had the Super Bowl and you had really sort of a hard time to poll because Super Bowl is a time period when a lot of people go to parties, a lot of people travel, they go to other places. You know, it's just been the way this thing has been all year. We started out polling in Christmas, we end up polling in Super Bowl Sunday. I've done it before though, I can do it again.
Yeah, and these numbers reveal what? A resurgence of Obama, a comeback of Romney. What's going on here, Matt?
A couple of things. First of all, with regard to Obama, I think this is the self-fulfilling prophecy of the pundits earlier this week who said Obama was making a comeback. There wasn't the evidence to show it. Now the evidence is now picking up in the polls. Obama is clearly making moves in California. He was behind substantially Clinton in southern states such as Alabama, and now Alabama, it's virtually a tie there. In Tennessee, it looks like Clinton will hold on. In Georgia, it looks like Obama will win so big that we didn't poll it anymore. So this is a very interesting move for Barack Obama, and we'll see how far it goes. On the Republican side, it is a true battle. Now, California, some of the polls show that going Romney, others show it McCain. I don't see the shift quite as much against McCain, although certainly Georgia, which started out with McCain with a slight lead, has bounced back and forth between Romney and McCain. I don't think that one's ready to call yet. I think our poll tomorrow will tell us who's going to likely win that race.
Do you think the closeness of that race is the reason why Mitt Romney is here in Atlanta today and is going to spend his day probably in the rest of our state?
Absolutely. Mitt Romney decided that Georgia was most representative of the Republican Party nationally. He wanted to have something that he thought it could carry him going forward, and so he's betting a lot of his cards on Georgia, where he has a very strong organization. He did come up in the polls over the weekend, no doubt about it. Mike Huckabee continued to fight in there as well. If it weren't for Huckabee, Romney would be winning Georgia and several other southern states overwhelmingly, and boy, did he express that frustration this weekend. I did, by the way, ride on the McCain bus with John McCain, sat across from him and talked for quite a while. He was in a very relaxed mood as he came into Georgia. I think he's a little surprised that he's the front runner, quite
Really?
frankly.
Tell us, what was it like on the bus? What were people doing? What were they talking about?
Well, I mean, it's not unusual. I mean, not different from most campaigns, although I will say there's a little more relaxed demeanor than in some presidential campaigns, other campaigns I've been a part of. They weren't, you know, they don't guard McCain quite as much. They don't force him to stay in an area. You're brought in one by one. He came up front, sat with everyone, was very relaxed. Sort of startled that someone had given him a couple of $1,000 or something. He said, "Wow, can you believe that this person just standing me $1,000?" So I think he's really still just getting used to being front runner again, but he also seemed very loose and relaxed. And I can tell you from a lot of campaigns I've been involved in that, you know, if you have that tenseness, it's going to come through to the crowd. I didn't think his crowd was overly enthusiastic. It was a big crowd, but they just don't seem to be, well, they're older. A lot of his supporters are older. I didn't see the intensity, but I've not seen that intensity in any Republican crowd this year. That's been reserved for Barack Obama, it appears.
Well, I was just going to say, in contrast to the Republican crowd, let's talk about C-SPAN yesterday. University of Los Angeles, Oprah, Maria Shriver, Caroline Kennedy, and of course Michelle Obama. Did you see that?
No, I didn't. I heard about it, but I can tell you this. I mean, what do you think's happening at the Schwarzenegger house right now?
I don't know, but I think there's a little bit of divisiveness going on.
Well, it wouldn't be the first time, I don't think.
Probably not.
You know, California is trending towards Obama. You got to remember, though, that California is a delegate state. It's one that's broken down based on what you carry and where you carry it. So everybody's going to come out with delegates of all of these things, including in Georgia, which is another state. Georgia's one of the reason we're concentrating on Georgia is not because we're headquartered in Atlanta, but because Georgia is considered to be the most significant southern state, both for the Democrats and for the Republicans in this particular fight. Now, I might add, Tennessee has sort of shifted to being the big sort of a Democratic battle. That's one that, and Alabama, those are two that are really interesting, where the dynamics of Obama and Clinton are playing out. But this is, it's an exhausting thing. We're going to go back in the field again and poll some more. We'll be back. And let's talk about our coverage tomorrow. We will have live streaming coverage of Super Tuesday right from these studios. I will not be here for much of that coverage. Instead, I will be at ABC in Atlanta, WSB Television's headquarters, and Aileen will be here, hopefully joined with Chuck Clay, who's a member of our Insider Advantage team. Gary Reese will be here coming up from Tallahassee to join us. We'll have Tom Baxter, of course, who is our publisher of the Southern Political Report, and on the phone out of D.C. in our D.C. office, Hastings Wyman, who covers the entire South, and of course Lee Bandy and others. So you won't be alone. You'll have the best. And I will be calling in and phoning in fairly regularly and giving my analysis from the ABC affiliate here in Atlanta. So I'll be very much part of the team. I just won't have the pleasure of sitting next to you.
Well, I'll miss you, but we'll do a good job in your absence, Matt.
You'll do great.
Keep everyone up to date on the latest numbers.
Great. So for Insider Advantage, Southern Political Report, and Insider Advantage, I'm Matt Towery.
I'm Aileen Page.
Thank you for joining us.